Good morning, this is Vicki.
And this is Jo.
And we're the Two Natural Ladies.
And we talk about the good news we all need and ways of getting the most out of life.
We help people with practical, uplifting ways we can all make a difference.
And we're striving for better, not perfect.
And we love a good laugh. Please enjoy the show. And you're with the Two Natural Ladies. That was a dramatic end.
Oh, yes. Nickelback.
Yes. And, you know, that's become my grandson Jacob's, one of his favourite songs.
There you go.
Yes. And, look, I was going to start with this, but since I'm talking about Jacob, for those of you who did know, in Australia, it was Clean Up Australia Day on Sunday. And Monday, well, everybody in the world should know about this one, was which is yesterday, International Women's Day. So I was going to clean up Australia on International Women's Day, not on Australia Day, because Jacob was going to be with me.
The whole of Australia, Jo. Yes.
I was going to clean up the whole of Australia. Jacob and I were going to start at one end and just finish at the other.
Thank you.
That's all right. However, we couldn't because he'd hurt himself. He'd been up at a place called Churchill with his family and he'd gone down this slippy slide thing and somehow rolled himself over and bashed his ribs and he was in a lot of pain and he had these huge bruises everywhere, so he wasn't up for it. So we're going to clean up Australia next weekend.
Okay.
Okay, so just know it's handled.
Australia just has to wait one more week.
Exactly. Yes, it'll all be done.
I confess, actually, I
confession,
yes.
yes.
I felt a bit bad. I thought like I should. I was just down on the beach. It was Sunday. I was walking the dogs with my husband and I saw these people coming out of the bushes with a... And I'm like, what are they doing?
Yes, go on.
And then I realised, they're cleaning up Australia. And they were wearing Animal Justice Party clothing. And then I saw later, Bronwyn Curry's member of Animal Justice Party, she had posted that they had all congregated around Chelsea and they were cleaning up
in the bushes.
That's where the fun is.
Well, that's right. Well, it's probably where a lot of the muck ends up, isn't it, too? Because with all the wind and everything, it could get caught up there.
But I picked up my usual 3.
Oh, good on you.
Let me just say, couple of bits that were by the shore. That always has me feel good that I've saved something from going into the water to the fish.
Yes.
And somebody else's dog poo. I thought I better clean up.
I've got to take my hat off to you for that.
Well, because there is a self-interest.
Yes.
Because I'm an owner of 2 dogs. I always had dogs. And it really upsets me when people blame all dog owners for a poo that's been left. Yes. So I pick it up so I can somehow reduce that point of view because it's the few, as usual, it's the few who ruin it for the majority.
I know. I must admit I'm a bit of a, I watch the dog owners when they're walking and taking no notice of what their dogs are doing.
Yes.
Most of them are very good and are keeping an eye on things and will pick up. But I remember one lady, she was walking really quickly and her dog was doing his business and I actually said to her, look, excuse me, he's just done it. Poo, and she said, I'll get it on the way back. It's
sure.
Right.
I can never find it.
No.
You've got to stand there. My husband had walked ahead because our foster dog wants to sniff everything. So, our other dog likes to chase the ball. So they'd run ahead. And then Molly had done a poo. Well, Shane had to stand there and wait for me to catch up because neither of us would be able to find it.
No, that's right. And yet, the person walking on their own would probably go squelch and find it.
Yeah. And our foster dog, I've got to say, now that we're talking about dogs and poo, our foster dog has created a degree of difficulty for us.
Oh.
We've worked it out now, but because she doesn't really like the water, she likes to sniff on the sand and up in the bushes. But we tend to walk along the water because we throw the ball in the water for Molly. And anyway, the dog, the foster dog, goes into the water occasionally, and the reason she goes into the water is she thinks it's a good place to do a poo.
Oh.
Which is really difficult to then collect it out of the water. So now when she goes into the water, I pull her out.
Yes.
Because here's me thinking, goody, you loving the water.
Yeah.
No. So we actually have to get the ball thrower to scoop the poo out of the water.
I think I've had enough of that conversation. Certainly not feeling like wanting to have anything to eat, which often we do, but not now.
Okay.
I'm going to go back to Nomadland, which is thank you to our wonderful Pauline O'Brien, who heard me talking about it and has printed off some information. It sounds wonderful. So Frances, I've forgotten her surname, McDormand, who's an amazing actress, is in it. And it's premiered on September the 11th, obviously, at the Venice Film Festival. The film garnered acclaim, becoming the third highest rated of 2020. And it's just all about this amazing group. I'm just trying to find. In 2011, Fern loses her job after the US gypsum plant in Empire, Nevada shuts down. She's worked there for years along with her husband, who had recently died. Fern decides to sell most of her belongings and purchase a van to live in and travel the country searching for work. She takes a seasonal job at the Amazon Fulfillment Center through the winter. And yes, so it's all about, and it's just about the woman who, it was actually based on a book. So this woman had written a book. She'd followed she'd become part of this community for 3 years.
Okay.
Highly recommend it.
So it's called?
Nomadland.
Nomadland.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I highly recommend you see it. So there we go, little film information.
Thank you.
There you go. So I did want to talk about Lynne McTaggat because we were talking about woo-woo before.
Yes.
And energy. And really, based on what I'm hearing and reading, I'm not reading as much about it as I'd like to, in the field of quantum physics, the most recent research has shown that the universe is the result of a dynamic process in which the basic elements that constitute everything we see and touch are in a constant state of exchange. This means that rather than our bodies and everything around us being a combination of self-contained atoms and molecules, it all exists in a kind of cosmic soup that is perpetually being stirred. In other words, it provides further evidence that quite literally everything is at its essence only one thing, a single organism of interconnected energy fields in a constant state of becoming.
So do you feel like a carrot or a pea or a potato?
Oh, well, probably I'd like to be what would I like to be? What do I feel like? String bean.
A string bean?
A string bean.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I think that's really interesting. This proves that contrary to the assumptions of Sir Isaac Newton and Charles Darwin, we are not in competition with each other for survival, but have instead been dependent upon collaboration and connection to evolve as far as we have, and it is unequivocally the path forward for our species. These discoveries, along with other discoveries in biology and the social sciences, have underscored the reality that each of us is considerably more powerful and important than may be at all obvious to most of us. The key to change that perception lies in shifting our focus and our awareness to the proof that is all around us of just how tied together we truly are with everything else, and then beginning to develop the untapped powers we hold within us to more actively stimulate our personal and collective evolution.
Well, there you go. That's pretty
well, and we do talk a lot about that kind of stuff. We talk about how that when everything's got to work, really. Like if we actually did see that the homeless and the people that have been in prison and all the people that are, the fringe people, and Nomadland's got a bit of that going on too. If we look after everybody, then life will work so much better for everybody.
Yes, and paradigm shifts are a very good thing to look for. Because, yes, it is possible. We know it's possible, and it's our belief that this not in competition with each other for survival. It seems that we've had an overarching belief that we are in competition with each other, and if we see it, we can make change.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that whole thing of working together is the way to go, rather than and we're not. Yes, we're not in competition.
But it's like the rule rather than the exception. We've all felt connection at different times.
Yes.
Or they say a common one is the phone rings and you've just been thinking about that person. Well, we actually were in the realm of that's the rule rather than the exception. Can you imagine what we could create.
Yes.
As a society and a culture. And
you know, it brings to bear, where did that conversation that we are separate come from, and what was it created for? And it's actually really interesting that, was it like we did all know we were connected originally, and then something happened in the middle, and now we're coming back to that? Anyway, that's I guess that's a, who knows?
Wow, yes, who knows?
That's a deep conversation.
That could be like a whole series.
It could be.
Yes.
Maybe we'll do that, a whole series of where did we come from, and what was that conversation, and
how did we evolve, and why? There you go.
Yes. Well, we have so much more to talk about, but because we'll have to leave oranges till after.
Well, that's right. But we are going to start talking about healthy eating, aren't we?
We are.
Yes.
We are. And just on health, Elizabeth Schaff is creating sanitary pads made from banana fibre in an effort to prevent waste.
That's good.
Elizabeth knew that to make pads affordable in Africa would mean developing a production process using locally sourced materials. Through trial and error, Schaff discovered that banana fibres are surprisingly absorbent, and banana trees are everywhere in Rwanda. I love that. That came from Environmental Talk.
And I don't know why, but now I'm wondering how Good Eddie are going.
Yes, we do. I think we need to touch base with Good Eddie.
And Good Eddie has nothing to do with pads, but they've made a really cool, edible, compostable coffee cup.
Yes, I think we need to put that on our list of things to contact Caroline and Anio about what's going on.
Yes.
Maybe have them on and see what's going on. But otherwise, we'll let you know.
You've been listening to the Two Natural Ladies podcast. Visit twonaturalladies.com.au for more information. Thanks for joining us.